ישלח עזרך מקודש ומציון יסודך יזכור כל מנחויסך ואילוסך ידשנסלו ייתן לך כבבך וכל עצוסך יבעלי נרעננו בישועסך ושם אלוהינו נתגול ימלא אדוני כל משאלויסך אתה יודעתי כי יושיע אדוני משיחו יענהו משמי קודשוי בגבורויס ישע ימינוי אלה ברכב ואלה בסוסים אנחנו בשם אדוני אלוהינו נזכיר הימו קורו ונפלו ואנחנו קמנו וניסוידוד אדוני יושיע המלך יעננו ויום קוראנו למנצח מזמור לדוד אדוני תשכחני נצח אדוני תסתיר את פניך ממני אדוני שתצייץ בנפשי יגוים בלבבי יומם אדוני ירום אבי אלוהי הביטו ענני אדוני אלוהי יאירו עיני פן ישן המובס פן יאמר אבי יכולתי בצרה יגילו כי אמית ואני בחסדך בטחתי יוגל ליבי בישועתך השירו לאדוני כי גמל אלוהי שעמלוי שסויני אלוהים מיין יבוא יזרי עזרי מיים אדוני יעשה שמים וארץ ייתן למועד רגלך ינום שומרך הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך, על יד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יכך, ויורח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאצך ובייך מהטוב יד עולם. שיר למעלויס שיר המעלויס ממעמקים כרוסיך אדוני אדוני שמע בקולי תהיינה אוזנך קשובות לכל תחנוני אם אבוינויס תשמעו אדוני מי יעמוד כי imcha slicha leman tivorei. Kivisi Adonai kivso nafshi v'lidvoroi oicholti. Nafshi l'Adonai mishoimrim laboike, shoimrim laboike. Yachel Yisrael el Adonai, kim Adonai yachesed v'arbei imoy fedos. Oh, Yiftes Yisrael mikol avonoisov.
There's an element of shock over here when someone who's so active, going to shiurim, driving a car, going around, and suddenly he's nifted. There's a certain element of shock. But in the middle of the shock, we have to learn the right things. Us younger people, us middle-aged people, have to learn from the Zekanim and the Zekanos. And Mrs. Fruma Levin Alei Shalom had a lot to learn from. There was a certain simchas achayim, a certain smile, a certain good right word to every single person, an optimism that radiated to other people around her. In fact, I just remember as I'm talking, about 40 years ago, her husband, Rabbi Arya, Zechron Levrocha, I was in Tel Shiva campus, and he stopped me on a Friday afternoon, and he gave me a whole schmooze about being upbeat, about being lebedik, and going forward. Just admit nothing. He gave me such a schmooze, I remember. So Mrs. Levin, she went through the war in a very hard way. I heard some stories about her running the forest, hiding away. And she was for decades in Almona, from different hard things that she went through during lifetime. And always, but always, there was a certain menucha, a certain majesty, a certain simchas achayim that radiated to people around her. This morning, people in my family were saying, our favorite person, Bobby Levine, always so happy. We're holding in the Yiddish calendar at a very turning point. With Parshas Nosai was the end of what you call a very upbeat golden tkufa. There was Tu B'Shvat, Purim, Shleshim Yom Kermachad, Pesach, Sfiras Ayim, Lag B'Yim, Shavuos, Parshas Nosai, a very upbeat time for Klal Yisrael. And now we go into a whole bunch of parshias that seem to be failure after failure, mistake after mistake. This week is Baloischa, the Misainim, then comes Shlach with the Meraglim, then comes the rebellion of Kairach, then comes Mei Meriva with Chukas, then comes Moritz Moeven thing, then comes the 3 weeks in Tisha B'Av. It seems it's a tkufa of mistakes, and you read this one after the other. And we know from our Rebbeim that, of course, the Chatoim of the Dar Hamidbar is nothing like plain people's Chatoim, not like our level. It was very darkistic mistakes from very high people. But Afal Pikain, it's written in the Torah for every person on his level, every dar for its level, to learn from the quote-unquote mistakes of the Dar Hamidbar to our level. And in this week's Parsha, there's a Parsha of Misainim, complainers, which on their level was a very darkistic achet, but it's written for us to learn from, not to complain. And Mrs. Levine, her mitzias was not complain. That was her mitzias. Not being a mitzvah, not complain. She went to all different sorts of things that there was no complaints by her. we see a half-political thing that she was driving a car until the very last day, going to Shirim. She was in Wicklow for Shabbos, went to a lady shir. She was active and bedata b'shlemus all the way. And if you want to be matzia, that tremendous bracha of das till the very end, not being a tirch on anybody till the very end, that tremendous bracha, what can you attribute it to? So, there's a interesting mimer, very important. You saw this a mimer from Shimshon Pincus. It's based on a medrash. Hashem tzolcha al yad yaminecha. Hashem is your tzeil. So normally you learn pshat the word tzeil means a shadow. But Chazal say the word tzeil means a reflection. If you give a smile into the pond, the reflection smiles back at you. You give a good Horace Ponim into the mirror gives a good Ponim unto you. Hashem tzolcha. A person with his mood, a person is a certain amount a master of his destiny. You can't make everything what you want to happen to you, but a certain amount a person is able to be mashpia on hashkacha, how it works with you. If you show a smile in, you get a smile back. If your mood is up and optimistic, Hashem's hashkacha works better for you. If you're upbeat, Hashem's hashkacha is more upbeat with you. And if Chas Shalom the other way, a person's down, it's a scary machshav, it's a scary fact of life, that sometimes a person's mood down can bring more Chas Shalom, more bad things to happen. When a person's mood is optimistic and up, it brings bracha, it brings a shefa, it brings good things. The ha'oris ponim, Hashem tzolch al yad minacha. I would just humbly be matzia that this lesson HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed us, that a person with such a good mood had such a tremendous koyach till the very last day, active till the last day, bedata till the last day, cheerful till the last day, is a direct result of that gufa. That cheerfulness brings cheerfulness. Mitzvah gereres mitzvah. Good mood is gar good mood. Good mood is gar good things to happen. And I think we saw this in this whole wonderful lifetime. Ms. Levin was also what you call not too old to be a basaliyah. Some people burn out at 40. Some people burn out at 50. Some people don't burn out. They just keep being b'nai aliyah. The Ramban says in last week's parsha, why does a Nazir bring a carbon chatos after being a Nazir? So there's different pirush minol chazal. The Ramban says, because he was a ben aliyah. If you can be a ben aliyah for 30 days, and you have a prisha for 30 days, so continue. If you were a ben aliyah, you tasted what aliyah is like, so be a ben aliyah. A ben aliyah is always a ben aliyah. If you don't, nothing wrong, you had a good thing, but you bring a chatos. There is a certain element of not being a ben aliyah that he could be invited. And some people are b'nai aliyah till the end. Imagine, she was in Wicklow for Shabbos, and she went to a lady share on Shabbos because she wants to grow. She was always, every lady share available in the community, she was just there wanting to grow. She was Baruch Hashem Zoicha, 3 doiros of Oiskim Torah b'mitzvahs, Marbitzei Torah, Talmidei Chachamim, Dor HaChadoir, Ratzon should be a Mutzi Yoshe for the whole Mishpacha and for Klal Yisrael.
Mommy. I want more mommy. Chazal say, Marin, Mois, Alonim Kosher, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seifan, Manichem, Bebeis Gnozov. Dezelfde zaak sagt man auf an Ische Gscheire. Mama, your mama's Gscheire. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should make it. Moed Mois al Adam Kosher al Isha Gscheira HaKadosh Baruch Hu Seifra v'manichem b'meis Gnozov. We say it in Tehillah, in the Slichas. And the Mois, the Eibusher, Shatzleinim kol Gzeiras Rois. The Pasuk says in Eicha, Shoch v'la'aretz chutzai snar b'zokim b'sulaisai b'churai nofli b'chorav. You didn't want to speak about it too much, Mommy, but we found out what you went through the Gehenna in the Milchama Satan. You're running away from the Rishoyim, Yimach Shemam. Shachval, or at Schutzos, you were lying down in the fields, and the Babel El Shalom laid over you, and they heard the Russians speaking, and you, but Teach Bashem, you heard the dogs barking. You were together with the Zayda, Zechon V'Racha. You were hiding in the Milchama Satan. A whole mishpacha, bonim, bonis, a whole mishpacha. And then you went out with the Zayda to go get water. And you left them. The Zayda went with you to go get water. And then they saw Yimach Shemam, the Russians, Yimach Shemam, the Germans coming. And he said, I see them. You saw the white people, their face was covered with white, their face. And so they ran away, the Zayda, and you ran away, you came back, and you saw the whole mishpacha isgeschachten. And this was the Reishim you had when you were a little girl. You saw your mother and your sister, and everybody was killed out, and you were saved with the Zayda. This was the Yemei HaMilchama. And then you came over with the ship. You met Daddy Shalom. You met. I was born in Germany. And he told me the Maisi came over with a ship over the Atlantic after the Muhammad Satan. And it was so seasick. I had to hold you, a little baby. You came to New York, and the people, the Schwerkeiten. And this is what you were Maisi Nefesh. When I'm going to Mishpacha. Paul Gemaim Yerdei Oh, Shever Basam Yizok Yirmiyah. Paul Gemaim Yerdei Oh, my mom, then you came to send your son to yeshiva from Denver. Daddy was a sheikhit in Denver. How am I going to take my son, 13 years old? I remember you crying, standing there and crying. You have to leave my son, go on the train for 24 hours to Cleveland. But he has to go learn Torah. And you sent me away from the house to learn Torah. Paul Gemaim Terid Einai. Chazal tell us, B'nei Tzina Yikarim, HaMusolim Ba'Paz, the Pasuk in Eicha. B'nei Tzina Yikarim, HaMusolim Ba'Paz. So Rashi teaches, Haroya Isem. You see them. Rom Shatorim Shal Elu, Kimarapaz, like gold. Whenever we saw you, Mommy, you had Gavaltik Simchas Achayim. You left with Amuna. Bis the leste, Mamish leste Rega Achroin. Your Einikli Yocheved told me that you want a drink of water. The last thing you said on this Welt, the last thing you made a bracha, bracha to Hashem, Shahakol Nia Bidvaroi. That's what you lived with. Shahakol Nia Bidvaroi. How much Meshiras Nefesh you had for Daddy Zechon Levracha. The Tata Zechon Levracha was sick for many, many years. And who took care of him the whole time? You Meisel Nefesh to take care of him. You didn't want him to be away in the house. You threw Meisel Nefesh for him. And then you went through the P'tira from your entire Zun. Chaim Levi David. Hello, Shalom. You went through all these Sachen. And Eibush took good. You were happy. Mamish with Simcha. You had such nachas from everything. And in Denver, I still remember, you were part of the Chevra Kadisha in Denver. And also in Denver over there, you collected, I remember, money for milk and for the kinder in Eretz Yisrael. The place what it was over there. Milk money for Eretz Yisrael, the kinder. The Gemara says in Kiddushin, it talks about Kibbut Ovaim, Mechavdo B'chayov, Umechavdo Acher Maisai. So Bishleim Mechaber B'Chayav. We could have done much more, Mommy. The flowers, once a Chodesh, not enough, the flowers. I used to call you up every day, but still not enough. Who am I going to call every night? What's going to be Shabbos afternoon when I come to visit you? So the Shaila is, Mechabde Lacher Maisai. Lacher Maisai is the Olam HaEmes. Was war Covid ist, Olam HaEmes, Lacher Maisai. Mechabde B'Chayav, versteht man das, Mechabde B'Chayav? Aber was passt Mechabde Lacher Maisai? Was war a Welt has covered in the Olam HaEmes. To going out to the Olam HaEmes begins in Merayim. Was war ein Ort ist Mechabde Lacher Maisai? Das ist right down in the Hekelis for him. Mechabde Lacher Maisai means that it's because of you gewaltige Meisim Tovim, because you gewaltige Emunah B'Hashem, you showed a Seimel for everybody, what it means to go through the Gehenna and still be stark with the Eibishter. Sha'akol niyah b'dvaroi, everything comes from the Eibishter. And because of you, people are Mo'er b'tshuva, and you are the Siba, and the Kinder are the Sibas to Mo'er other people for tshuva. B'shas the Hesped. Das is Mechabde Lacher Maisai. Because of you, you're the catalyst, you're the Isaac, you make it that people do tshuva. This is the Indian. Mamish, just a schus that we had Bobby always the time, always. What she cared was, I don't want to be matriach anybody. I don't want to matriach you. She told my dad, I don't want to matriach you. So she said, Bobby, you know, we want you to be around. Pasuk says by end of Parshas Bereishis, by Salach Chanoch es Elokim ve'enenu, ki lokach oisai Elokim. The doctors still don't know what happened. They don't know. All of a sudden, the blood pressure dropped, and it was mamish. A couple hours, she was in the hospital. His mom was like a Mrs. Neshika. The Simchas Achayim that you had, the Gewaltige Ava to all the Einaklach, the Ur Einaklach. This last Shabbos, Baruch Hashem, you were with us in Wycliffe, and you're just sitting there and basking in the Hanof, Nachas from the Kinder, going through such a Gehenna. Me, who can first tell Stelzach for that the Bobby who was hiding, Mama's mysterious nephew was hiding from the Nazis in Makshama. And now you sat by the table. I'm not going to be able to give you a cup of tea anymore. And this was your nachas, your simcha. Kol amorid mois al isha ksheira. This is always like v'onim ksheira. This is the unser Yerusha. Unser Yerusha. You sent me to the yeshiva. It was so hard for you to send me to the yeshiva. The first time I came to tell us, we drove in a car for 2 days, and you were sad, and we were bringing my son to the yeshiva. And then we had to go by train, and you sent me off. It was so hard to go away. Baruch Hashem, I'm zeichen to learn Torah because of you. Because of you, you sent me away. I could be able to learn a little bit Torah. And because of this, Baruch Hashem, we should go weiter with your gewaltige Midas, your gewaltige Warmkeit. Kol ov ala mokom, kol mokom, forgot the Lashon. The Eilim likes you. Everybody loves you. Miss Levin, everybody loves you. It's a sim in them, Neshamayim. You have a gewaltige Ahava. This is mamish, what we say, Nofala, Teres Roshenu. Bobby was the Bobby. Bobby Levine, in a quiet way. She never asked anybody to bother, and she doesn't want to be an all on anybody. And you loved everybody, and you always gave for everybody. You gave from your heart, you gave from your Gemaltike Menuchas HaNefesh. Maybe you should help him to Shem Simchas. So Takas, Mr. Shem should be as Amelit Sheisher. For the guys of Mishpacha, I remember one thing, you always used to be careful. When you used to always go out of the house, you used to always be careful. You used to always kish the mezuzah, avud the mezuzah. I have to kish the mezuzah. You were always zor on these kleinigkeiten. This was your gewaltige kachnos orchim. I remember in Denver, all the mishlochim used to come. And Daddy all of a sudden used to bring in the mishlochim into their house. This mishloch needed fish in the morning, Shabbos morning. And this mishloch needed this, and this mishloch needed this. You always moms to everybody. The gewaltige Ava and Achva. The gewaltige Simchas HaMitzvah. Like Baruch mentioned, she goes every shir she can go. She took L'chaim with Rabbi Siman. She went with her. I'm going to go to a shir. Nach a shir. How you doing, Baba? I'm going to a shir this year. And she had her tillim. How many times when you used to come? This last Friday night, I went upstairs before Mommy because Mommy was sitting saying her tillim. She had to say her tillim. She's mispala for everybody. So it's like I'm for Gonzala. For the ganze mishpacha. Mama, you have the schus now to go to Kisei HaKavod. And you meet Daddy Zechar Levracha. You meet David Zechar Levracha. You meet them all. And you'll be Pearl Yeshuas. Zayin Bilu Amamas Lenetzach. Mocha Hashem Dima Mikal Kol. Mommy, gibt's a cook. Look at all the people that came here for the Kavod Acharon that you're receiving. You're somebody who came to town relatively recently, yet see how many people you have made your mark on. Gibt's a cook. My mother said to me many times that she was a product of a nace. Everybody in the family has heard about the story in World War II. Menachem just said it over. They were hiding. The Baba they were together in a field, a cornstalk field, a very, very tall cornstalk field. And they were hiding in between the rows. And there were bloodhounds. Nazis had bloodhounds. Trying to smell them out. The Baba said, we're finished. And Mommy said, no. She had bitachon. And the wind was blowing the wrong way for the dogs. They never caught the scent. But that was more. There was more of this life of Nissim that my mother had. My mother recently told me as a newborn, her mother fell asleep after her childbirth, and she was crying. A well-meaning cousin took some bread, stuffed it into the newborn's baby's mouth, choked her. She would have suffocated had it not been for somebody, another person, relative, caught what happened and took her out in time. Mommy didn't have it easy. She saw her whole family shot. She used to tell me on her mother and her sister, the outside. She had tears in her eyes. She used to tell me how she came back. The Nazis in Machshema made him undress first, and then they shot him. They came back to this pit, and they were not to hate, besides being killed. This was also another nascent fact, because my grandfather always took the other sister when he was foraging for food. He took Sarah Rivka. He never took my mother. Punk that day, he took my mother. So him and my mother were survived this inferno. That was another nace that went through. She didn't have it easy. She nursed my father through a long illness which sapped her strength. It sapped her golden years. I was in Denver.
in the doctor's office when he diagnosed my father with Alzheimer's disease. He saw the tremendous pain, the tear, but she never lost Apitachin. She lost a son to a long illness. She lost an anicle as well. But nobody can think back and say, my mother was bitter. My mother was a complainer. She was happy for other people's fortunes, happiness. And she thanked Hashem for hers, but she was never, ever jealous. People will remember her as always having something to say nice to people. In Denver, the house was open. She gave of herself to everybody and to anybody. She considered herself secondary, while a guest was royalty. I still remember as a 13-year-old bacher, a bar mitzvah bacher, her father was nifter on a Shabbos. Out-of-towners were traveling through town and had already arranged to stay by my parents for Shabbos. A couple were staying there. She prepared Shabbos. And then afterwards, with my father, went to the hospital. I took care. I stayed with out-of-town guests. My grandfather at that time was a geisis. She volunteered for all the maistes in Denver. Nothing was below her. If it needed to be done, she rolled up her sleeves and did it. All without fanfare. No attention. Recently, when I walked her from her home to my house for the Shabbos Suda, if there was any other men coming kegging to us, opposite us, she was very, very zoyer to walk behind me in order that she shouldn't be in between two men. When the Meshulach came to the house, by her house, I saw this with my own eyes. Meshulach came to her house and she gave her check. She didn't hand the check to the Meshulach. She put the check down. Meshulach took the check. Now I'll tell everybody a secret. My mother was Zeichet Tarichas Yamim without any major illnesses, Baruch Hashem. Just yesterday she was at a shir. We all know that Kibbud Av V'Eim is rewarded with Tarichas Yamim. She was mechaber her father, my grandfather, the Zayda, very, very much. But what comes to mind for me is a Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. Gemara in Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, Rav Huna Bereid of Yeshua Chalash. Rav Yehuda Bereid of Yeshua got sick, very sick. All Rav Papa l'Shiuli Bey. Rav Papa came to visit him. Chazye, so Rav Papa saw to Chalash Le'alma. He's not going to make it. He was very, very sick. Omar Luhu. So he said, Sevisu Le Zavdasa. Prepare this man's tachrich. The Saif, however, Rav Huna had a refuah shalema. Ispach, he got healed. Have a mixta for Rav Papa l'nechzei. So Rav Papa felt uncomfortable because he had said, let's prepare his tachrichim. He's already on the way out, and here you have it. The man made it. Amalei my chazis. So what was seen up there? Amalei ein hachinami. Rav Papa said, Rav Huna Bereid of Yeshua said, ein hachinami. Rashi explains, Misa niknasa alai. I was supposed to have perished. The Amar Luhu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, however, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Hayal, v'lei mukim b'milei, v'lei sukumu b'hadei. He didn't stick to his guns. He wasn't makbid. And Rashi says, Al tadaktiku acharav. Since he wasn't, I'm not going to be madaktik with him also. And therefore he was zeichet to a refuah shalema. My grandfather was in business in Denver. I'll tell you a story. I'm not sure that Menachem even knows, or Baruch knows. I was a little bit younger. But parents were my father's no longer a sheikhet at that time. Finances were different. I was the youngest in the family, so I heard more than maybe Menachem would have heard in yeshiva and already married. My grandfather was in business. He was in contract to purchase a very, very lucrative property. Two Jewish people in Denver, however, arranged that my grandfather was cheated out of this deal, and they purchased the deal themselves. And it worked out very, very well for them. To say the least, there was very, very bad feelings. However, years later, when all three people were nifter, my grandfather and those two other Yidden, they're already in Olam Ha'avos. My mother approached the two Amanas and went against the natural feelings of a child to a parent to make amends with these two Amanas. During his lifetime, there was Kibbut Abayim. After his Petira, Shalom and Loi Mukim B'milai prevailed. In my humble opinion, that is why my mother was zeicha to the Arichas Yom that she had. Mommy lived down the block from me. We had a very, very close interaction with each other, with her. She never wanted to be a tircha, but we considered it an honor. Nevertheless, sometimes my opinion, that of my wife Chani's opinion, differed from hers, especially when it came to her health. And Mommy, I want you to be mechalas. You should know we only had your best intentions. Mommy, thanks for everything. Thanks for making the difficult decision to leave Denver after 49 years of being a Taishav there, to be here in Cleveland Heights. You being here in Cleveland Heights was a bonanza. It was a bonanza for me. It was a bonanza for my children. Your Einiklach can relate to a lady of Nisim and can learn from a very special lady that you were. You now go and meet your mother and sister Hashem Yivgo Tama. Your father, Nezaida, and Maishal Chanan, Daddy, your husband, and your son. Please be Ma'ir Rachamim for the whole Mishpacha, and for Klal Yisrael. Bila Mavas Lanatzach, Umacha Hashem Lakim Dima, Mi'al Kol Panim.
Today, I have a certain jealousy of my cousins who live here in Cleveland. I spent throughout my life a lot of time with Fruma Levin, but not enough. I spoke to her on Erev Shavuos for a few minutes. I wish I spoke to her more. About 28 years ago, I spent a few weeks in Denver in the summer by Zadie and Bubby's house, myself and my sister Rivki, and we got to see firsthand how they lived. One story sticks out in my mind from that time. It was Friday night after the meal, and Bubby served us ice cream for dessert, and we were little, and maybe not my sister, I know me, I started licking the plate after I was finished, and Bubby said, "Maishi, you want more? I'll give you more." And I was thinking, why did that story stick out in my head today? And I think, yes, it was ice cream and it was maybe a little bit funny, but I think that story is a microcosm of the one thing that you can say about Bubby undisputably, which is that she was a giver. All she did her entire life was give. She didn't take. Give, give, give. She gave her time, she gave her money, she gave her company, she gave her good cheer. When she came to spend time in our house when my father was not well, you could see the pain in her face when she sat with him. But she didn't stop smiling. Bubby, if I didn't call enough, please be mindful of me. You'll be missed tremendously by me, by my family, by all of us, by everyone who knew you. And may it be Military Yasher to everybody.
Sie du the Gemara says, "Ki noch nafshi der Bechenon Posach alu sabel de clocked kiba shemesh batzaroyim." The question is, Rabbi Yechanan was a zokin muflik. What does it mean kiba shemesh at the sunset, middle of the day? Now the pshat is kiba shemesh batzaroyim. Rabbi Yechanan, he was taka a zokin. He was taka. Rabbi Yechanan doch gewen kol kulay teire sinai vayka harmend. Rabbi Yechanan v'Reb Shlokish. Afilu azokin ob es doch gewen kiba shemesh batzaroyim. Bobby, Taka, you lived. You Taka at Arichas Yomim. You were Taka Bentishim. You were Bentishim going on 65, 70. B'chol Yibocho es Yisrael. Whenever you came to Lakewood, you met anybody. Everybody's to give a bracha. I should be zeichet to be like Bobby in that age. Utz mamish kibo Hashemish batzaroyim. Yesterday she went to Shir. She drove to Shir. She gave in yeshiva for Shavuos. She gave in the other Shabbos in Shul, davening. Mamish, a younger Frau, Mamish, Taka 90 years old, Mamish, Kibo Hashemish, Batzaroyim. The Pasuk steht in last week's Parsha, Vayi Bayom Kalois Moshe. Rashi asks, Vavor steht Bayom Kalois Moshe. Sie given Bezalel, Eliyav, Chocham, Chamlev, all the Chachamim that took part in building the Mishkan. Moshe just put it up. He wasn't the one that did all the hard work. So Rashi, Fishem Tola Kosov b'Moshe, why? Fishem Mosa Nafshe Olov. Lilois Tavnis Kol Dover v'Dover. K'Moshe Eru Bahar Lohoros Lois HaMalocha. He was Moshe Nefesh to show the Tavnis, the form, the Tavnis. Wie sie darf ausgucken. Wie hat der Eibische, how the Eibische showed Moshe. V'loi to betavnis achas. Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't toye, he didn't misrepresent even one tavnis. Memele Mishkan, Ruvtzach of Moshe Rabbeinu, because he was Moshe Nefesh of the tavnis. Thinking of Bobby was the tavnis. Bobby was a tavnis von der Amole Kedor, von der Friede Kedor. We can doch sagen be'etzem, Kozman Bobby was around, her Stadt Parziv noch hat gelebt. Kozman Bobby was around, unser Scheiches mit Kamenitz, erstes Chove von der Seine, doch hat gelebt, we still had it with us. Aber jetzt der Bobby ist weg. Ist doch begehrt bei Yomes Yosef v'cholechov, v'chol ador ahu, der ganze Dorf ist schon nicht da, ist schon nicht da. Dem Tavnis. Was is the Tavnis? What was the Tavnis? Like was mentioned. But I think this Tavnis was Bobby's Metzias, her Tavnis, of how she went to the Mochama, in every Tzara, she's gesehen, the Mishpacha ist geschochten. She's verloren a Kind, an Einokul, like we mentioned. Zedi was sick for 8 Jahren, mit gesehen, a Malke, a Malchus, a Tavnis, a Yiddish Mame who lived with the Amunah mit der Eberste. We saw a Tavnis von der zerbrochene Freu, Baruch Hashem Tchasne gehabt noch dem bekommen, like Abba said, a weggeschickte Kind gehen lernen, mit darf lernen, a wegschicken, das ist a Tavnis, das ist the Musik, the Tavnis von der Yiddish Mame. Und jeder Matziv, Bobby was always stark. Bobby was the starker one. Bobby was the starker one. Also wir kennen sich zustellen, der Pasuk von uns. Asher telchi elech, uva asher tolini olin, amich ami, velekaich elekoi. Bobby hat nicht geruht, nicht geredet von der Eberste. She lived with the Amunah, she was stark, she was, wie man sagt in English, she was tough, and she lived, and she went weiter, she went weiter. She lived, not obvious, Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasodim. Like Abba mentioned, the Torah, the ganze Schus Torah was from Bobby. Bobby geschickt there. And the embassy is Bobby sent all her 4 sons. Ave geschickt all her 4 sons. Weit zu gehen lernen. Bobby, alle Blätter Gemorre, hunderte, tausende Blätter Gemorre von Abba, von Onkel Baruch, von Shia, und Lahavdil, von Onkel David, von alle Jahren, was wir gelernt. Und wir lernt weiter. Bobby, this is all your schus. Every share der Abba sein gesund zählt. Und ich sage mit dem weiter mit der ganzen Kirche bis am Ewessen noch schon. Das alles bis Schuss, jene Mama, mit jene Bobbe. Kirche schon gesagt. Bobby's avoide. Was ist avoide Tfilo? We heard Bobby's Tillim, the davening. We remember als Kind, it was like getting in Denver. Bobby Alamo gewinnt in Schule. So Alamo, man geht in Yeshiva, was was allemaal about Tfilo, aber in Schule, jeder Shabbos, nicht gefällt kein ein Shabbos, man geht davenin, jeder Tfilo, and then Cleveland, man kommt in Yeshivas, Alamo gewinnt, es ist Noshim, man geht davent in Kalyarem, man geht davent, Alamo, the Tfilis, und Gemilas Chasodim, like we mentioned, Zedi's house in Denver, how we remember when we were kids, was always chesed, Beis Shlav, Avinu, everybody stayed there. Reb Shalom Shadron, everybody. When I was learning in Fallsburg, Rebbe Yibet came back from Denver, he was there for a chasana. versteht sich, he stayed by Zadie's house. He stayed by, Rabbi Kraus stellt him, he told me, Avada geht mir geht zu Rabbi in the Bubble, because wenn wir noch, who else would the yeshiva go to? I remember talking when Rabbi Yeber came back, he called me in, and Zadie was sick. And Bobby gewöhnt sich ein bisschen, wir darf etwas tun, das Schuss für Zadie, also haben nach Refuah, and he called me back, and he made me come to learn in his house every day. Gemacht a special limud, das ist ein Schuss für die Zadie. Der Bobby hat gewollt. And Moshe says a word, we learn in Parshas Bechukoisai. The Parshas Bechukoisai is Yedua, is the Parsha von the Techocha. Before the Parsha of Techocha is the Parsha von Erechim. Hat der Moshe Feinschnitt einmal gesagt, was ist das Smiches Akro, was ist das Scheiches Erechim mit Techocha? Hat der Moshe gesagt, einer, was hat durchgemacht, a Techocha, ist doch ähnlich scheier sein Haroche, sein Erech. Bobby, du hast durchgemacht, a Techocha, a eigene Techocha, verloren Einerkohl, verloren a Sohn, verloren die Mischpoche in der Machome, und a viele Hoche mit der Starkheit. Bobby, your Erech ist ähnlich scheier, ähnlich scheier. Also wie es steht, Safte bebeiso, Sima bebeiso, Tage, wenn der Sedor, Bobby Sedor broche, aber Bobby Tage, your Erech was Tage ähnlich scheier. Bobby, this week's Parsha, we get the Chleinin, by even Soya Oroin. There's this Noshim in Kairei with sein Leidik. Bobby's not going to be there. But Bobby, we get, we bet eigentlich zu sein Amelis Yosher. Wir stehen da now bei der Orin, bei dem Heiligen Orin, bei Yibin Soya Oroin. Kuma, wir beten nach Kuma Hashem, wir Futzo Yevecho, wir Nusu Misanecho, Miponecho. Sein a gute Bette auf Klal Yisrael, auf die ganze Mishpache, auf alle Bnei Teure. You wanted so much that we should steig aus, we should be good, we should daven wie Menschen, when we used to come to Denver, aber vielleicht aufstehen spät zu davenen, schießt der Montos, wir darf gehen Zeit zu davenen, darf kommen zu davenen, Shiva Bochim. Bobby, seid der Milziösche für uns. We should be zeiche to go in your ways, mit der Starkheit, with Azar Simcha Sachayim. Bobby calls man you around. Like you said, you don't want to be matriachos. But Bobby, you carried us. If you do with the vort. Someone told me when Zadie Oliver Shom spoke by the Beis Yaakov in Denver, he said over the Ovester of Nosson, was the Tate sein gesund, sagt über allemal. Ore Neuses, Neusov. So steht doch, the Luchis, by Shavim Tachasah, Moshe Rabbeinu had to grab onto the Luchis. What says he was holding them. His calls man, the Oisius were there. It was Beged or Noisis, Noisov. But when the Luchis, when the Oisius flew off, Shanish Geven, so Mele had to grab onto it. Mele Zadie said then, Mir meine me kumme stitzen da Beis Yaakov in Denver. Nein, wir seien da, aber Beis Yaakov hat unsere Tage. Beis Yaakov carries us. Bobby, we didn't have to carry you. I feel if we had to, you wouldn't let us. But Bobby, you kept us. You like, wie gesagt, Nofla Teres Rashenu. Bobby, wir seien geblieben on der Nofla Teres Rashenu. Seid ein Meditation für uns, für die ganze Mischproche, für alle Kinder, für alle Eineklach, Merube Zorche Amcho. Wir darf doch haben, jeder eine darf doch haben, Yeshuas in seine Wegen, Yeshuas Refuas, Tzrochim, seid der Meditation für uns alle. Bobby, we want to ask you, Mechila, von alle Jahren, vielleicht kommen in Denver. We spent choice there. Aber wir gewinnen junge Bochrim, wir nicht gefolgt, we didn't listen. Wir gewinnen Kinder, we didn't listen. Should we give you some Agbas Nefesh? But Bobby, Leila Hachi Sechom, we were in the clock, and I'm sure you had Nachas from us. Bobby, be Meuchelos. Seid der Meditation für uns alle eine Klach, für alle eine Klach. Man soll sicher sein, zu machen Hashem Dimo Miakoponim.
Everyone here could say a husband on my mother. Everybody here knows my mother. Everyone here could be Masber. And I can't speak. Everybody can speak. Ich kann nicht sagen, ein Hesped Karoi auf dem Mount. A Hesped Karoi. That's already hard. I want to tell you something that nobody knows. Father, Oliver Shalom. He told me he was being Mishabeach. My mother, he said over what was said at their Sheva Brachas. You don't know this, no? Somebody got up to speak, a Ben Torah got up to speak by their Sheva Brachas. Yarnsrik. In Europe, Chazal say, Kala, She'eneha Yafais, Ein Kol Gufa Tzricha Bedika. So was meint, the Kala hat gehad a gut. She had a Neha Yafais. Her eyes were pretty. Was meint das? So this Ben Torah went on to say, my father didn't want to say it, but he said, Vibald, she had good eyes to find the right chosen. Das ist gewende Meile. That's Pshat and Chazal. But the truth is, everybody knows the Pasha Pshat. My mother, Inel Yafais, Pasha Pshat, Inel Yafais, hat a gute Eigen auf an andere. She had good eyes. She always had good for everybody. She looked for good for everybody. Even in the times and the years where people would struggle for parnasa terribly when somebody else was mezoichet to have something. She was a shuttif with my father, lending people money when they didn't have. When they had $500 in the bank, they gave it away to somebody else so they can invest in a business. Einel Yafais. She had an ayin tova, a tremendous ayin tova, a good eye. I'm sure it was mentioned before. Her last words, I don't want to be matriach anyone. The emes is last year she told me she went to visit somebody in the nursing home here. And she said to me, "Das wissen, you should know, I have no problem. When it'll be my time, you'll put me there. I don't want to be matriach and anybody. Nursing home is okay." The whole life was I don't want to be matriach anybody. My earliest recollection, I think I was 8. Rabbi Porish, Zohar Levracha, used to come to the house, used to come to collect money. I don't even know exactly what it was, but my mother was involved in raising money for milk for the Yishuv in Eretz Yisrael. It's my earliest recollection. A whole life, she was for somebody else. Ganz 11, that's how she lived her life. For someone else, she really didn't take care. She didn't take care of herself. Meaning, she took care of herself, but life was just about somebody else. Throughout the years that we grew up, it's like in this week's parsha by Aaron HaKohen, talks about the milas from Aaron. So steht vayidoim Aaron. When Aaron lost what he lost, Tzvei Gedolei Ador, his 2 sons, Torah says vayidoim Aaron. Aaron was silent. My mother was silent. My mother throughout the years couldn't talk. She only hinted. Only later was she able when she was already 80. She would talk to the Einaklach. She wanted them to know, but very little did we know from her. Vayidoim, she was quiet. Amazing emunah, an amazing emunah that she had to go through the yisurim that she had, to go through the losses. I think that secretly I think she looked forward to seeing her mother. A mother she hasn't seen since she was 16. A sister she hasn't seen since she was 16. 11-year-old sister. A geschacht. Untold Agvas Nefesh. She, like her father, like the Zayd Oliver Shalom, like Starke Amuna, Vayidoim, she was quiet, nicht gefragt. I know that she's looking forward to seeing her husband, a husband that she gave up so much for. A woman lives in a city for 50 years. It's better for Dad this way. See, he left everything. She was a malka in Denver. Ask anybody in Denver, they'll know she's a queen in Denver. Very hard to leave her friends, her life. And she came here and she started from Aleph. And she went to Shurim. Everybody here knows this. When my father was nifter, she called the boys in and she said, "Promise me you're not going to speak about me." We all knew how much she cared for him so many years. Every day, 3 times a day, she would feed him. My father liked hot tea. Every supper, she'd have hot tea for him. She would have to feed him with a spoon. Every meal, every breakfast, every lunch, every supper, putting him into bed, taking him to the bathroom. Everything she wouldn't. Everything by her. And she wouldn't let us say anything. Vayidoim. Azat Snius, Azat Edelkeit, Azat Kol Kavuda Bas Melech Penima. She made nothing of herself. and she wouldn't let us speak about her. Vayidaim. Mommy, now it's Lamani Zamercha Kavod V'lo Yidaim. Now it's V'lo Yidaim. Can't stop talking about you. But I've learned it. We have to learn from you. I'm sure it was said before, the serious nefesh of a young woman who had so little, got a father, Baruch Hashem, that came out of Europe. Baba was there. And it was there. She had young children, Baruch Hashem. And when it came time for bar mitzvah, noch the bar mitzvah, she sent away Rabbi Nachum. Rabbi Nachum became what he became. She sent away her children. This was tremendous, serious nefesh. It was for both my parents. And like Meir said, the schusim from the Gemaras, from the Dafim, from Alex Sfarim, Shali v'shalachem shalah. I don't know if I should say this publicly. Ich weiß nicht. A couple of years ago, she had problems with her teeth. She had problems with her teeth for most of her life because she had no dental care during the war like everybody else. Excuse me. She had to spend a lot of money on her teeth when she was 80, 81, 82. Gedenk nicht. So I remember I was once at the house, and she's talking to me about the procedures, about the bridges, and about the things that she needs to have done, how much money it costs. She says, you know, what do I need it for? I'd rather give it to Menachem so he can sit and learn. Her own teeth. Her own teeth. That's how much she was for somebody else. Let Menachem have the money. He needs it for his family. She knew what she had. She had us on prints. She knew it. That's what she said. Pasuk says, she brings down that was her job. That's what she wanted. The flame would already be going up by itself. It says that Aaron HaKohen was Chol Sha'oz Daita. Aaron HaKohen had Chalishas Adas, that he didn't have a chelik in the Nesiim. He didn't have a chelik in the Chanukas HaMishkan. So the Rebbeinu Shalom to Aaron HaKohen, Chayecha Shalcha Gedolim Mishalahem Shata Madlik Umeti V'Saneris. Zokna Mefarshim Segate. It's really referring, to answer the Ramban's questions, it's really referring to Matisyahu Banov. So the question is, Rashiva Rebel Yosvei gefragt, what does this have to do with Aaron? How is this Miyashav Daita? How was this able to appease Aaron HaKohen by telling him that thousands of years later, Sevet Zan HaMaisef and HaNeis from Matisyahu Banov? So he said it must be that Aaron knew, even Rashi says over, Vayaskein Aaron, Melamed Shaloi Shina. Melamed Shaloi Shina, Aaron didn't change anything. Everything that he did, he was Madlik Neneris, everything was always done the same. There was never any changes. What's the Chiddush? Of course he didn't change. Do we change our mitzvahs? He had a mitzvah to light the menorah. He lit the menorah. The teretz is that when somebody does a mitzvah, the first time we say it with a lot. We do it with a lot of hislavos. So much so, memachta shechayanu. It's a gewaltig ischatshus. But after the 100th time, it goes down a little bit. Aaron HaKohen would light thousands of times, and he lit the 1000th time, Azevi the first time. Melamed Shaloi Shina. By doing that, he put in to his children such a fire, and that fire lasted for thousands of years. And Mamela, Aaron was able to have nachas because of that nace that came out from Aaron. Shalcha gedolim mishalahem shata madlik umeiti v'saneres. Mami, yoytze adsha teyat shall have a soilem me'aleh baruch Hashem. You have children, you have grandchildren, you have eneklach or eneklach. B'nai Torah, people that you appreciated, but you put in, you flanced in. We all saw how you did mitzvahs. We all saw how you davened. Somebody once came to the Chafetz Chaim and gebeten for a bracha. The Chafetz Chaim said, on a bracha, did you daven? Gesagt Tehillim. So the Chafetz Chaim said to him, show me your Tehillim. He showed him his Tehillim, and then the Chafetz Chaim went up on a chair, and on top of the shank, by the Svarim, he took down a Sefer Tehillim. It was very thick from the wrinkled pages, and he said, das is mein Mama's Tehillim. You see the tears? Azay Zokman Tehillim. Always remember the mice. I came home, gesehen, the sheets of paper that my mother had in her siddur, the Tehillim, and she would sit, and she would stand bent over, she would daven. It was not as easy for her to daven like it is for us. Her education was so short. But the tears, she knew. A mama's tears. I think it was said before, but I'll say it again. My mother being here, we had my father. We had the Zayda Oliver Sholem. Big people because they were Maminim Bashem, and there's that Klorkite. She had that Klorkite. By Yidayim, she was quiet, nicht gefragt. Sie hatte Hamuna. She had an Amuna. She believed in Tchias HaMeisim. She believed in Asheras HaNefesh. She believed. We had my mother. When my mother was here, we had my father. We had my Zayda. We had the Baba. Had the Filu David HaMelech. It would rip your heart to see how she davened and said Tehillim in Lakewood by a son who's sitting in a wheelchair so long. Reicht Sticker. Gebeten. But it didn't falter. Her Amuna didn't falter. But now the whole it's gone. Tata Zavek, Zayda, Bava, David HaMelech. It's a grace, it's a big loss. I can't. My mother would always talk about shalom, how important shalom bayis is, how important shalom is. And she would say to me, you know, by davening we say Oiseh Shalom B'Mroimov, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. And what do? She asked me, Baruch, what do we do when we say Oiseh Shalom? You take a few steps back. Sometimes that's how you make shalom. Don't stay by your position. Don't stay like where you're holding. Oiseh Shalom B'Mroimov, you step back. Zait mevater. When I left my mother for the last time, Baruch Hashem was in Cleveland about 2 weeks ago. I said, Mommy, I love you so much, I can't get enough of you. And it's true. She had a wonderful relationship with my wife. She would call her often. They used to talk about things. She used to give bet neitzes. I have to ask Mechila. It's a different Mechila. Menachem was here. Shiel was here. Shiel was down the block. Shiel did every schnit and trit, gewend Shiel. Shiel did everything. Shiel was my nefesh in the middle of work, whatever it took. He's gewend up. Mommy had somebody right here. Shiel's wife, Dani. She had the kids she had, Baruch Hashem. Menachem called her every night. He came here every week. Biggest Fragenigam, Menachem would call me and we'd speak at the house. She would get on the phone and he would talk. But I was away. David HaMelech sent her nachas from the far. Zachach the Emes. It was hard to come to Cleveland because she thought I didn't want him in matriach her. And she wouldn't hear of her not making supper. And she wouldn't hear of doing the tircha. And I didn't want to matriach her. I must have learned that from somebody. But I have to say thank you to Rabbi Menachem. Menachem Mendel was here. All the Yom Tovim, all the Shabbosim, that when my mother was here by him. Just knowing that she had a son there was unbelievable. I had menuchas and nefesh from it. Just knowing, and I have to say thank you, B'peh Mole to Shia. Reb Shia was here, B'mole Muvan Hamila. And it made me feel better. Made me feel better because we had a trust, Baruch Hashem, he would take care, and he did take care. Mommy, please be mindful of me. I didn't come enough. I didn't talk enough. The Shalachim would come to Detroit and they would remember how the Shabbosim were in Denver. They would tell me how much the Shabbosim, how much they loved the Shabbosim. Rav Shvadron Zecher Livrocha stayed at our house. Gemach Dareishim. I always thought that these people would be Makabel Pnei Mashiach Tzidkenu. Those who went through so much, it would only be fair that they would be able to be makabel upon Mashiach. But Vaistais, the Rebbeinu Shalom, had a different plan. And maybe Mashiach will come earlier when they have tzaddikim and tzidkanias upstairs doing what they have to do. I can't say goodbye, Mommy. I don't know how to say goodbye. Please be mindful of me and my family. You were a great person. This is what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. Somebody who went through a fire, gebleibt to mine. Please be a Melitz Shoisha for us, for your friends, for your mishpacha, for your cities. The Kabbalah's panim that you'll have will be amazing. Mommy, I can't let go. Shbi Melitz Yasher. Bilam Avas Lenetzach Mocha Hashem Dima Me'al Kol Panim. Hashem Nasan. Hashem Loka. The Rebbeinu Shalom gave us such a matana. A matana for the family, a matana for the cities. You changed so many people. You're a Yaitza, Ganze Gehinnom here. There will never be anyone like you. Lech B'Shal. Mommy, we love you. We care about you. We were inspired by you. L'mechze l'shlisha revia, we knew what we had. Now you're in the Rebbeinu Shalom's hands. The Rebbeinu Shalom will take you. And he'll say, my Tachtrol, I know what you went through. I know what you thought when you were lying down in the grass. I know what you're thinking. I know how scared you were. I know what it is to lose so much. But you'll stand proud because you were a Maimon. You're a Maimon and a Tata in the Himmel. That's the biggest thing that we could say. You're a Maimon. Sata Gute Better. We all love you, Mommy.
As a Enochel living in Cleveland, I was zeicha, my wife and I and our mishpacha, to have a special shaykhis, a special connection to Bobby. Just Sunday night, we spent time together. Picked her up from the house. She was sitting in the car right next to us. We were talking. Two points that I think make a rosham, that are negei l'maisa to take out. The stolzkeit, the gevuras hanefesh, like was mentioned, the malka, the malchus, always holding herself strong. We would push her to tell us the stories. She didn't want to talk about what happened to Muhammad. We pushed her. This past year, we were able to get her to talk. During the 3 weeks, we sat down with her, we recorded it. She didn't want to talk. She would talk, and versteht sich, when she said over the stories, she couldn't talk, and she would cry, but right away, with the gvuras hanefesh, she would hold on. I asked her once that, who said over the story, when they were hiding, and punkt that day, punkt, Tishdok and punkt, she went out with her father, and they came back and they saw that everybody else was killed out and she was saved. And I asked her, I said, Bobby, could you think of anything? I don't have the chutzpah to ask, but I asked anyways. I said, Bobby, could you think of anything why you were zeichet to be saved? Why you, punkt that day, you had your mishpacha there, why were you saved? So Bobby never talked about herself anyway, so I wasn't really expecting to get an answer. So another time I pushed her again. I said, why were you zeichet? Maybe something you did when you were younger, you could think of a maisa. She started crying. She said, I don't know. The Rebbeinu Shlem at the Zegeton, that I can raise a mishpacha, that I can raise a family, I can raise you. So it's chayvus upon us, b'nei mishpacha, to live up to that, to make sure we're going on the proper derech taka. I think it was mentioned that the Bobby always went to all the shiurim. I think I remember hearing that besides for the shiurim, she had a chavrusashaft with Rebbe Tzimman, I think. They used to learn a sefer that, talking about, she was 90 years old, they learned Oiz Vahad Levusha. Very important for 90-year-old ladies. This is how she was. Alamo mit Tzvashnein weiter to go to a younger mensch, but always trying to know more of us, what it is. My brother Cheskel told me she used to come to us, stay in the house. So a lot of times she would sleep in our room, in the corner, and on the wall in the room, there's some Gedolim pictures. There's a picture of the Zayder Reb Chaim Zatzal. There's a picture of Reb Shach, I think, there. And when she stayed in the room, you go to sleep, you change. She would make sure to cover the picture. She felt that it wasn't Bakovadik. Adam Gadol's on the wall. It's not Bakovadik, I have to cover it up. It's Nua, nicht nur in them, but it's Nua in the ganze Mahalich from her life. That's how it was. Still, Ona Bahala. I have a personal Akaras Hatoiv that I have to give for my mishpacha. We used to come, the kinder with the Einiklach. She had a lot of nachas from us, from the kinder. We hope we could be mamshich in the drachim that you would want us to go. Mechila, for sure I have to ask, as living here in Cleveland, there's nothing to talk about that I was not Mekayim, what I should have been. We should have been there more, we should have came more. Should be a Meil Tziyah Shabavi for us, for the ganze Mishpacha, for alle Einiklach. Mocha Hashem, Lekim Dima Me'alkol Panu V'nei Marav.
Baba. Just 2 days ago, I was here, Shabbos, we verbringt with Bobby, my kinderlach. Kinderlach felt so close to elder Bobby. Emes Yiddish Mame, and Nivis, and Pshitas, and Ashlemus, and everything. Kliyaka brings down, it says by when Aaron HaKohen was nifter, steht in Pasuk, Vayivko Yisrael Kol Beis Yisrael. When Moshe Rabbeinu was nifter, so steht nur Vayivko Yisrael Beis Yisrael, sagt der Kliyaka, Amoyer de Kazach, by Moshe Rabbeinu warned Klai Yisrael, Nech Yehoilech Lamos, Klai Yisrael were prepared for it. Mashen came by Aaron HaKohen went up to Har HaHor, and he just didn't come down. Zok the Kliyaka, as something happens so suddenly and you're not prepared for it. It's a bezundere bechi. It brings out much more hergeshim. Memela was vayivko. It's like Kol Beis Yisrael. Everybody in Klal Yisrael. Just a couple little nekudas I wanted to
Bobby's anivis, the way she didn't talk about herself. She held that everything by her was like no big deal. One of the things that Bobby, when we were able to talk to her about the Muhammad yarn, so Bobby said that there was a tkufa of a couple months. Bobby had the whole day she had to sit crouched in a little doghouse in front of a house, in front of a goyish house. And the guy would throw in a little bit of food to her to keep her alive. She had to sit there, azay, she didn't see light, she wasn't allowed to talk. She wasn't allowed to say any sounds. And that's how she went through a ganze winter. At night, when there was no moon, she was able to go outside to stretch her feet. That was a story that Bobby told us. And then we were schmoozing, and Bobby tells me a maisa that in Denver, Reb Shalom Shvajon Zechaim Levracha was in her house over Elul. And whatever it was that happened, Bobby was inspired to Bobby that he had a tainis dibur. A ganz Elul, he didn't talk. Bobby said it was mamish pili ploim. A ganz Elul, he didn't talk. So I said to Bobby, Bobby, what's it? The Baba gegangen a paar Monaten, you weren't allowed to talk. You had to sit there in the little doghouse. You weren't allowed to whisper even. What's a tainis dibur ba'ich? What's that guy says? Well, why is it such a big deal to you? Bobby says, no, to me, this is garnish. Was ich hab getan, this is garnish. Aber a mensch, a ganz Elul. By Bobby, everything that she did with Azah Nivis was no big deal. Bobby, like everyone said, Bobby, how much she was an Oived Hashem. I called Bobby once, Matzah Shabbos, and I was schmoozing with her on the telephone. And Bobby tells me, it's good that you called me. It's good that you called me, Matzah Shabbos. Why, what's epis? Bobby tells me, Shabbos, it's an Neshama Yisera, Shabbos is Halik. After Shabbos, I feel a very big letdown. So I try to put on music to keep me besimcha after Shabbos when the Neshama Yisera geht da weg. So if you called me, stell sich vor, Isha that was able to feel, and this is what she lived. Nach a Shabbos, she felt a letdown. We all spoke about the story that happened during the Muhammad. It was interesting when Bobby came to Lakewood then, at the Levaya from the Fall Tzvi Zechaim Levracha. It was late at night then, we were standing there in the Beis HaKvaros, and I turned to Bobby and I said, Bobby, nach Azoifil, wie geht man weiter, was tun wir? And right away Bobby's like, the Starkheit, Bobby tells me, you're going to be coming to Cleveland soon, I'm going to tell you something, and I'll tell you wie man geht weiter. And then Taka, when it was the Bein Azmanim, Bobby tells me, I want to speak to you, I want to tell you. It was on Bobby's mind. She wanted to make sure to give it over to the Einaklach, to give it over to the Vait of the Kedeiris. And Bobby sat down then, and Bobby tells me the ganze Maisa, durch the Muhammad, and Bobby tells me, wie hab ich gegangen weiter? Ich hab gesagt, meine Mama, als ich geschachtet. Bobby said, ich hab gedacht, machen sich a Stein. So I said, Bobby, machen sich a Stein? You didn't have the Hergeshim? You didn't feel? So Bobby said, nein, ich hab gemacht sich stark, she said. I said to her, Bobby, so how'd you do it? She says, you think I didn't cry? I cried all the time, but nobody saw. She says, my father, the Zaidas, who was his wife and his daughter that were killed, she said, I didn't see him cry then either. That's where I learned it. But a few times I heard him crying. Das ist gewähnt. That's how, as I geht man weiter. You have the Amunah and Betochen in the Rebbeinu Shalom. That Starkheit. That alles, what the Rebbeinu Shalom tut, is Latoiv. As I geht man weiter. That was Bobby's Mahalach HaChaim and everything. And she held it stark and she gave it over to us. But yet the Zach, Bobby was like that. It was a Maisa with Geld. And Bobby had obsessed something with money, and I had something with money, and I was very ois mensch about it. And I saw that Bobby was bechlal, it wasn't being mafrier. And I called the Bobby. I said, Bobby, what's this? Like, how come, So Bobby tells me, I want you to know something. You're Zaidi. You know how much money he gave out to people. You know how much money he lent to people and they didn't pay him back. This is garnished. The Rebbeinu Shalom has his cheshbonos. The Rebbeinu Shalom takes care of everybody.
And that was the Mahalach HaChaim that the Baba lived. Hebesh will help him that we should be able to be mamshich in this Mahalach HaChaim of Amunah and Betochen and Rebbeinu Shalom, and be able to halt sich stark through alle Matzovim. And Bobby, you should be able to look down and see, oh, those are the Dayas Yisharim and Varech that Bobby stellt avek. Ein o'clock, or 1 o'clock. With Bobby's Mesiras Nefesh that she sent out to her kinder to yeshiva. And Bobby, I remember as young kinderlach, when we used to go, Bobby used to tell us so many different things. And we used to laugh sometimes, thought it was Narishkeit and Kleinigkeit. And then when you get older and you realize that Bobby was trying to be Mechanechos. As a ben Torah azoy geitnen. If you're going to go out to the arbeit in the Welt, azoy daf minton. Everything stops passing to what you're doing. You can't wake up late for davening. Azoy is pasach nishvar ben Torah. You're going to be in the world, you're talking to people, but I've read them with a certain, you have to talk with a certain ehrlichkeit, a certain midas. Bobby was mamish isha that was with a ganze shleimus, and that's what she meant from us, and that's what she stellt weg by us. We should be able to go weiter in this weg. And the Bobby should be a minute Yosher for the ganze Mishpacha, all of the 1 o'clock and the 1 o'clock. Everybody loved Bobby so much. Bobby was always there for everybody. My kinder, Bobby's 1 o'clock. Oh, let's go over there. We came to Cleveland. Okay, when are we going to visit Alter and Bobby Levin? They would come, and Bobby would give them so much attention and talk to them. Bobby cared so much about them. Taka, halavai, they should go. We should all be able to go continue and be mamshich in the Bobba's weg. And that will be a emes schus for the Bobby. And seine Bier Mos Lanesach Mocha Hashem Dima Me'akol Ponu.
El Malay Rachamim Shoichein Bamirabo Boimim Ametzei Menuchon Echoinam Oyal Kanefei Ashechinam B'ma'alois Kedoshim Utorim Kizo Yaroro Kiamasirim Es Nishmas Hoisha from it, Basar Moshel Chanon, Sholach Aloilamon, Bavur, Shebnei Mishpachto, B'chol HaKol, Maskirim es Nishmoso, Began Eden, Tehei Menuchoso, Lochein Balo Rachamim, Yastireo V'seisei Knafov, Le'yoilomim, ביצרור החיים אס נשמוסו אדוני הוא נחלוסו וסונוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר אמן. Shiva is going to be in the Nefteris' house at 3626 Severn.